Hey guys, today is Thursday, February 6th, 2025. And let's see, last time, a couple days ago, we did Leviticus 16, Day of Atonement, which is what now is Yom Kippur, to atone for sins that are kind of unaccounted for. You don't really know you sinned, and so that's the day of that. Today we're going to do chapter 17 and 18. So it'll be, this one's on eating blood that's forbidden, sacrificing away from God, not for God. And then 18 is on unlawful sexual relationships. So that'll be fun to get into. Anyway, let's get started. Chapter 17. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to Aaron and his sons," and remember he has two sons left, Aaron, "and to all the Israelites, and say to them, this is what the Lord has commanded. Any Israelite who sacrifices an ox, a lamb, or a goat in the camp or outside of it, instead of bringing it to the entrance to the tent of meeting to present it as an offering to the Lord in front of the tabernacle of the Lord, that person shall be considered guilty of bloodshed. They have shed blood and must be cut off from their people," so excommunicated, for sacrificing outside of the tabernacle, not for the Lord, because essentially they're sacrificing for, a different God. They're going to be cut off from the people. This is so the Israelites will bring to the Lord the sacrifices they are now making in the open fields. They must bring them to the priest, that is, to the Lord, at the entrance to the tent of meeting, and sacrifice them as fellowship offerings. The priest is to splash the blood against the altar of the Lord at the entrance to the tent of meeting and burn the fat as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. They must no longer offer any of their sacrifices to the goat idols to whom they prostitute themselves. Oh yeah, that's a serious deal. They have idols. There was goat idols, very pagan, and they got to either cut it off or be cut out. To whom they prostitute themselves. This is to be a lasting ordinance for them and for the generations to come. Say to them, any Israelite or any foreigner residing among them who offers a burnt offering or sacrifice and does not bring it to the entrance to the tent of meeting to sacrifice it to the Lord must be cut off from the people of Israel. I will set my face against any Israelite or any foreigner residing among them who eats blood, and I will cut them off from the people. For the life of a creature is in the blood, and I have given it to you to make atonement for yourself on the altar. It is the blood that makes atonement for one's life. Therefore, I say to the Israelites, none of you may eat blood, nor may any foreigner residing among you eat blood. Any Israelite or any foreigner residing among you who hunts any animal or bird that may be eaten must drain out the blood and cover it with the earth, because the life of every creature is its blood. That is why I have said to the Israelites, you must not eat the blood of any creature, because the life of every creature is its blood. Anyone who eats it must be cut off. Anyone, whether native born or foreigner, who eats anything found dead or torn by wild animals must wash their clothes and bathe with water, and they will be ceremonially unclean till evening. Then they will be clean. But if they do not wash their clothes and bathe themselves, they will be held responsible. Look, oxygen's in the blood. That's our lifeline. That's our one necessity. And so blood is what is either the symbol of life or death. And so, God is saying, do not sacrifice, do not kill for anything but me. Chapter 18. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, I am the Lord your God. You must not do as they do in Egypt, where you used to live, and you must not do as they do in the land of Canaan, where I am bringing you. Do not follow their practices. You must obey my laws and be careful to follow my decrees. I am the Lord your God. Keep my decrees and laws, for the person who obeys them will live by them. I am the Lord." So God's really, he's putting it down here. I have my laws, and this is what's going to keep you guys holy and clean through your entire venture. No one is to approach any close relative to have sexual relations. I am the Lord. Do not dishonor your father by having sexual relations with your mother. She is your mother. Do not have relations with her. Do not have sexual relations with your father's wife. That would dishonor your father. Do not have sexual relations with your sister, either your father's daughter or your mother's daughter, whether she was born in the same home or elsewhere. Do not have sexual relations with your son's daughter or your daughter's daughter. That would dishonor you. Do not have sexual relations with the daughter of your father's wife, born to your father. She is your sister. Do not have sexual relations with your father's sister. She is your father's close relative. Do not have sexual relations with your mother's sister, because she is your mother's close relative. Do not dishonor your father's brother by approaching his wife to have sexual relations. She is your aunt. Do not have sexual relations with your daughter-in-law. She is your son's wife. Do not have relations with her. Do not have sexual relations with your brother's wife. That would dishonor your brother. Do not have sexual relations with both a woman and her daughter. Do not have sexual relations with either her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter. They are close relatives. That is wickedness. Do not take your wife's sister as a rival wife and have sexual relations with her while your wife is living. Do not approach a woman to have sexual relations during the uncleanliness of her monthly period. Do not have sexual relations with your neighbor's wife and defile yourself with her. Do not give any of your children to be sacrificed to Moloch, for you must not profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. Do not have sexual relations with a man as one does with a woman. That is detestable. Do not have sexual relations with an animal and defile yourself with it. A woman must not present herself to an animal to have sexual relations with it. That is a perversion. So, stop for a second. This is where, so the principal term in Peniach for the law Torah, the word used to describe God's gracious covenant with Israel at Mount Sinai. The people were not simply to obey and follow God's decrees, but to keep them and live by them. The Bible gives clear standards regarding sexual conduct. God prohibits incest, homosexuality, and bestiality. The penalties for breaking these commandments they're in like 2 chapters down. So we'll get to that in 20. We're in 18 right now. So there's adultery, incest, homosexuality, and bestiality. Do not defile yourselves in any of these ways, because this is how the nations that I am going to drive out before you became defiled. Even the land was defiled, so I punished it for its sin. The land vomited out these inhabitants. But you must keep my decrees and my laws. The native born and the foreigners residing among you must not do any of these detestable things, for all these things were done by the people who lived in the land before you, and the land became defiled. And if you defile the land, it will vomit you out as I vomited out the nations that were before you. Everyone who does any of these detestable things, such persons be cut off from their people. So they'll be excommunicated in the wilderness, in the desert, if they do any of this. This is how they're staying holy and clean. Keep my requirements and do not follow any of these detestable customs that were practiced before you came, and do not defile yourselves with them. I am the Lord your God. Okay, so we're going to hang it up there. That's on like the blood sacrifices. Those always have to be to the Lord. People were doing that for other gods and idols. Everything essentially is pointing to the New Testament, where, which is ultimately like the once and for all blood sacrifice, which is Jesus. And then the sexual relations just keeps it clean, keeps the drama out. The incest and adultery is gross anyway. The bestiality, all of this. So anyway, hope you guys are having a great week. Love you, and we'll see you soon.